get the Power BI gateway, you need to go to the powerbi.microsoft.com webpage. At the bottom of the page, you'll see it'll state more downloads. See all downloads, sorry, and select see all downloads, and I would then select Microsoft On-Premise Data Gateway. Select the download button. That'll download your exe that you'll run. Now, the one stipulation is that this cannot be installed on a domain controller server, so it can be installed on a workstation or another server. If it's installed on a workstation, the requirement would need to be that that machine needs to stay on when your scheduled refreshes happen. But obviously you can manually run the scheduled refreshes and have it installed on a workstation. So I'm going to run this exe. And it's basically just selecting next. And it's going to say, do you want to install the on-premise data gateway or personal mode? I always select the on-premise data gateway and hit next. Data gateway can be used with Power BI, also Microsoft Flow product, Azure Logic apps, so it can be used for multiple purposes, not just Power BI. I would then click this I accept the terms of use button, select the install location, usually I leave that as default, select install. You then need to sign in to your Azure account or Office 365 account to register the gateway. So once you sign in, you'll get prompted to register a new gateway on this computer or migrate, restore, take over an existing gateway. I'm just going to hit next to this. I'm going to give the gateway a name. So I'm going to call this PPG Demo Serve. Usually this is the name of the computer you're installing it on. I can add this to an existing cluster. And then I'm going to specify a recovery key. This can be anything you want as long as you remember what this is. And I'm going to select configure. Just give this a name of 2. I already had gone through this and set this up. Configure this. So as you can see, this has now created a gateway, PPG Demo Serve 2. Power Apps, Microsoft Flow, Power BI can all use this gateway as I indicated before. I'm now going to close this. The next thing I'm going to do is sign in to the Power BI service. I've already signed in here. I'm just going to switch over that tab. And I need to set up a data source, so I'm going to select, go to Settings. First, I'm going to select Manage Gateways just to show you the gateway is there. So I have this PPG Demo Serve that I created before. I have this PPG Demo Serve 2, which is the one we just created. However, there's no data sources attributed to this gateway yet, so I'm going to select Add Data Source. Give the data source a name. So PPG Demo Serve 2. I'm going to select the type of, I'm going to connect to SQL data, so I'm going to select SQL Server connection, but as you can see, there's all sorts of different connections, different types of data I could connect to. And I'm going to specify the server name that where my data resides, so PPG Demo Serve in this case. The database I want to connect to, TWPA, authentication method. I'm just going to use basic, and then I'm going to specify a SQL user ID that has authentication to the data. So in this case, I'm just going to select SA and put in the SA password, and I'm going to select add. Once I've done that, you're going to get it's going to specify to go to users tab, and I'm going to select which users can actually use this connection. So I, as the person who installed the gateway NM administrator, so now that I have my data source connection created, I can go to my workspace, and if I go to the one of the dashboards that I've already created here, so I'll go to my main dashboard, I can go up to and go to the gear icon and go to settings, and I can go to data sets. So the data set that I have configured here, I have to specify what gateway connection it's going to use. So this is the one we created, PPG Demo Serve 2. So I'm going to specify to use that one. And I have to map this to what the actual gateway that I created. So PPG Demo Serve 2, and select apply. So now my V2 data set is connected to this gateway. The other things I can do is once I've set up a scheduled refresh, so I've turned this on already, and I can add another time. I have this refreshing at 4:30 p.m., but I can easily add another time. You can have up to 8 refreshes per day, or once per week, or but the maximum is 8 per day. I can also put in an email address and have it email me when there's a failure with a refresh. The other thing I can do is I can select on the data set, I can go to the refresh history and actually see when the refresh happened. So as you can see, I did an on-demand refresh, and I had a scheduled refresh also happen at 4:30, but I did an on-demand at 4:08 p.m. here. So to actually do a refresh, I would select that specific data set, and I can say refresh now. When I do that, it's going to go out and refresh my data. So I'll re-pull the data from the SQL Server down to or up to the Power BI service. Once again, I can go to refresh history, and now I can see I had a refresh happen. Recap of today's webinar. We reviewed how to install the Power BI gateway on the server or computer, how to set up the gateway connection, how to set up data sources to use the gateway, how to set up a scheduled refresh, and how to review the refresh history.